Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. This is my review on Octopath Traveler 2, largely from a SteamDeck perspective. Quick disclaimer, code was provided by Square Enix for the purposes of this review. I've yet to finish Octopath Traveler, but I can already tell this game is the proper sequel to the original. Those who played the first game might find that there are a lot of similarities between the two, and truthfully, that's fine. The differences are very subtle in the beginning, and only now do I see where things are appreciably going in a better direction than the original. As a quick bit of info, I did beat the original Octopath Traveler to completion on the GPD Win 2. And for the record, the optional final boss was complete BS. So, while Octopath Traveler 2 largely retains the same framework as its predecessor, while having 8 travelers each having their own backstory and combat class, and path actions used on NPCs to progress the story, what's cool is the addition of a day-night cycle which gives everyone 2 actions. Hikari's path actions are knocking out enemies and stealing their skills during the day or bribing them for information at night. How that's used during the game matters, and what time of the day also changes if you can use these path actions. For instance, an NPC might be in one part of the town during the day but somewhere else at night, which means if you needed information to possibly solve a side quest, you would need the apothecary to inquire during the day for information. So this aspect evolves the original idea in a clever way that requires you to have the correct party at the right time. The writing and stakes of Octopath Traveler 2 are also considerably better than the original. The characters' viewpoints are varied and provide an interesting look into their world, such as Particio the merchant who struggles against poverty and Hikari's involvement in a struggle for the throne. I suppose luckily for me, I find myself fortunate that I chose Hikari as the first character, as his own personal motivations are easy for me to align with. Also, the opening chapter has scenes and hero moments that feel at home with a traditional JRPG. You have the classic scene where the protagonist is looking out over the cliffside at the prime location, watching his home burn and the eerie quiet juxtaposed against an excellent soundtrack. Personally for me, I recommend playing as Hikari first. Perhaps I'm wrong, but it feels the most rooted as a quintessential JRPG trope with proper stakes. There's no real harm if you don't pick Hikari, you will eventually play his chapter anyway, but I'm really enjoying my playthrough as in my head Hikari is so far the prime story thread. Even within other chapters, the party engages in banter, and to the voice actor's credit, the English voice acting is actually fairly decent. Sometimes it can feel like they are speaking in complete isolation, but still much better than some voice lines from previous JRPGs.
Here I go.
It's my turn now.
My turn.
Here goes. I'm investing in you.
Thank you, Particio.
The world of Octopath Traveler 2 just feels much more dynamic, with an eye on improved subtle details that work well with the tilt-shift camera effect, as well as the 8 characters being far more fleshed out, and, at least most of them, having greater stakes on why they are setting out for adventure. In terms of combat, there have been significant improvements from the first game. Each character still has their own class and abilities, but now they also have their own latent power, which can significantly impact the fight. The boost and break systems are still present, but subclassing can open up new strategies and tactics. The result is a turn-based combat system that is engaging and straddles the line between simple and challenging, which allows for clever and tactical players to take on enemies above their level. One thing that I really love in a JRPG is the inclusion of just speeding things up, both in combat and in dialogue. Since dialogue will be the more drawn-out part of the game, you have a few options. You can either manually advance the text, or have it auto-play out with voiced lines, or choosing the fast-forward option instantly draws the text and skips the VA entirely. Or you could just hold B altogether and skip that particular scene. In combat, you have 1x or 2x speed mode, and I really recommend running at 2x speed mode. So far, I've played Octopath Traveler 2 almost 100% on the SteamDeck. It runs pretty much locked at 60 FPS with a few occasional dips here and there when loading scenes, but even with heavy effects combat scenes, it stays pretty solid the entire way through and is a joy to play on the device. Playing at 60 FPS is a fantastic way to experience the game, but will average out to around 20 watts of total system power, resulting in a pretty clean 2 hours of battery life. If at any time you want to improve battery life, you can quickly choose the 30 FPS option in-game to get around 3 hours and 20 minutes of battery life. It's a fantastic game to play portably. I played the original on the Win 2, and today I'm playing the sequel on the SteamDeck. It's a sensational time to be a handheld gamer. As always, guys, thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.